I'm Johnny Millennium, and this is Film Fury. And Victor Lucas is not here. I've been sick for a while. He's been out of the country for a while. We're finally back in the same place. We couldn't meet up to do this movie, but I came to review it on my own, and that is The Snowman, starring Michael Fassbender, one of Vic's favorite actors of all time. But before I review the movie, I just want to thank our friends at the VFS School of Film. So this movie stars Michael Fassbender and Rebecca Ferguson. Now, before I begin, this is going to be a very short review because it's raining out here in Vancouver. I don't have the aviators on anymore. It's not beautifully sunny everywhere. It's raining, and it's going to be raining for the next 8 months. So watch Film Fury in the rain for 8 months. That's what's going to happen. But last night, I was taken into a snowy setting to watch Michael Fassbender in this brand new movie, The Snowman. So honestly, this is two different movies. First of all, the first movie you see is the trailer. It's something completely different. It looks like an incredible thriller. It looks terrifying. A killer, is killing people and putting snowhead men on, dismembered heads. It looks absolutely horrifying. In fact, my wife was like, "I'm so jealous you're gonna go see this movie." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going to see it, see how it is." And I can say, with all honesty, I did not like this movie at all, and I want to say, to defend Michael Fassbender, he is a great actor. Vic doesn't like him. I really like him a lot. I liked him in Prometheus. I liked him in a lot of things he's done. Obviously, Assassin's Creed was not a good movie, but Michael Fassbender is still a good actor. In this movie, he plays a very down-on-his-luck detective, an alcoholic, a terrible family man. You hate him right off the bat, and I think that's a sense of his acting. His acting is quite good. He pulls off this down-on-his-luck detective really, really well, and he's kind of like, he hasn't been on a big case in a while, and then all of a sudden this woman shows up, and she's been working on a case for a while. And here's what I want to say about this movie. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody who's interested in seeing it. It introduces so many characters, and all of these characters know each other, and all these characters interact with each other, and how this story all comes together is so ridiculously over the top and so far-fetched that I never bought it. I never bought what they were selling, and I understand this is a movie that was based on a book, a very well-received book. I'm sure the book is incredible, but its adaptation into a movie is not incredible. The environments, the directing is nice, but it just doesn't come together. The detective story is very boring at times. There were so many times I'm like, okay, are we gonna go and do something? Is something gonna happen? I wanted the killer to show up more, killing more people. There wasn't enough going on. When somebody would die, it was so boring. It's like, oh, okay, that was that? I was never afraid. I was never scared. I was never on the edge of my seat at any time. I honestly was looking at my watch a lot going, when is this going somewhere, man? When is this happening? And it is interesting, some of the suspense they try to create the movie, but it's so upsetting when it completely falls flat and doesn't do it for you. And all the acting is good in this movie. I really am a big fan of all the actors in this movie. Rebecca Ferguson is really great in this movie. But in the end of the day, it is not terrifying, it is not scary, it is not the trailer. I came home, I told my wife, I'm like, you should be glad you didn't see this movie. The other thing that I want to mention is something that I love in movies, and that is a soundtrack. How is the soundtrack in this movie? It's a soundtrack that does not go along with the movie. So the movie's going this direction, the soundtrack is going the other direction. Scenes did not even pair up. There'd be scenes where they'd be driving, and all of a sudden the music would be like going da-da-da-da-da, and you're like, isn't that a little over the top? Why are we getting so dramatic with the music? They're just driving over to where this person's disappeared in the movie. And you're like, why is the music so off-putting? It's very rare when I watch a movie and the music doesn't pair well with what's happening on screen. I knew everything that was going to happen. I'm like, the music started going darking. I'm like, okay, somebody's going to get killed. I get it. And then all of a sudden the music would get really dramatic over absolutely nothing. And the reason why they did that is because nothing was happening for so long in this movie. They need to crank the dramatic music to make it an illusion that something was actually happening. I was very disappointed in this movie. This movie should be a classic. The Snowman, taking place at wintertime. He only kills people on winter nights and replaces their heads with like snowman heads. That's a great premise. This should have been a slasher, terrifying movie where Fassbender's trying to capture this person in the snow. When this movie resolves itself, I was completely resolved as a human being that just wanted to get the hell out of the theater. And I was really disappointed. And Vic will be so happy that Michael Fassbender was in another terrible movie so he can justify his Michael Fassbender hate. One thing I do want to say, there is a cameo by an actor we haven't seen for a while, a very cocky actor from the 80s and 90s. Val Kilmer is in this movie. No shit. I couldn't believe it when we saw him in the credits. I'm like, Val Kilmer is in this movie? I love Val Kilmer. Obviously, the Iceman from Top Gun has returned for a very small part in this movie, playing a drunk detective as well. There's a lot of drunk detectives in this movie. That seems to be a common thing going on. And his role is really weird. Like, I do understand, you know, he had throat cancer and my heart went out to him for sure. And he's come back, and I don't know if his voice was dubbed, but his voice was really, I obviously have throat cancer. I don't know if they dubbed him or if this is his real voice, because all I remember is the Val Kilmer of the past. It was kind of upsetting to watch him in this role, to see how much he's kind of has deteriorated in a lot of ways over the years. He's not looking like the Iceman back in Top Gun. He's looking like an older guy who's gone through a lot of things in his life and has been very, very sick. But it was kind of cool to see him back. Mad Mardigan from Willow is back in another movie, but the movie does not accomplish what it needs to accomplish. It falls flat on its face into the snow where the snowman should be crushed in there, man. It's over. I've got to rate this movie. I don't even want to. And to even give it this score is a high score. Don't even watch this on Netflix. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10, and I think that's a little too high. So if you want to build better snowmen and create better movies, you can learn how to do so at the VFS School of Film in their one-year program. Go to VFS.edu to learn more.